Not content with your content? You've come to the right place. The Discontent Show with Joe Kuzma. Every brand starts with a story. Here's how you can grow your business by sharing it. Now, with today's topic, the host of The Discontent Show, Joe Kuzma.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Discontent Show. My name is Joe Kuzma, and I know you're anxiously awaiting some of my advice, especially today's topic on, well, just pretty much getting organized and wrapping your arms around all of this content that you have, planning it, organizing it, scheduling it, getting it out there. You have a brand, you have a business, you might be an expert yourself, you have some message that you want to get out there. And you know, I oftentimes talk about how to come up with this content or certain, whether it be software, certain tricks, or different things that you need to get into, be it a blog, a podcast, social media, maybe a little bit of everything, email blast, whatever it may be. But you need to get some tools there, even if it's an old-fashioned pen and paper. Of course, everything in the digital age, a lot easier to share. But today I'm going to talk about, a lot of people call it like pretty much a social media calendar, because that might be more frequent that you're sharing things on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or anything of that nature. But this kind of works for anything. Like I said, if you're a blogger or you happen to do podcasts, you're on YouTube, you create videos, you kind of want a calendar to help schedule out and plan everything that you have in advance. In fact, heading into when you see the record date on this actual show, we're right around the corner from the Christmas and New Year's holiday season here, and already thinking in advance, it's like, well, you know, you're so used to putting things out, be it, I don't know, some people, myself, daily, depending on client, depending on purpose, multiple times per day even, maybe twice a week or once a week, whatever it may be, you want to be prepared. And one of those things that we were discussing and I'm thinking about is, when I'm talking with the various people that I work with in this industry, hey, you know what? We're going to need some stuff for Christmas. And, if we post things on a certain day, let's say, Christmas falls on a Tuesday this year and we post things on Tuesdays for certain individuals and, that we work with their social media, for example, or a blog or even producing a podcast. You want to be able to work around that. You could schedule around it if you live like a laptop lifestyle, or you have some sort of means as myself to maybe automate or at least get ahead of the game with some of this stuff. But you don't want to be stuck on Christmas Eve creating, let's say, a graphic or finding a photo of Santa or something in order to post and say Merry Christmas to the world. No, this is why you need a calendar. And this works regardless if you blog, regardless if it's podcasting, regardless if it's social media. I tend to think in terms of social media, but I use it for everything. And if you happen to go over on my website at joekuzma.com, you'll notice that I have some resources. I have a resources tab. I have some of the tools that I use to help maybe make blogging a little easier. I've discussed on this very podcast some of the tools, and one of the tools that I love to use, and you could use anything. There's checklist apps such as Wunderlist, which is almost dead tech, but Microsoft hasn't killed it off yet. They started their own little task list program after they purchased Wunderlist, and that's a whole other story. But either of those, if you need something, even if you have an Android or an Apple iPhone, they have checklists, notes apps, there's Evernote, but the one I really gravitate towards is Trello. And it's because Trello allows you to move cards and customize in any way that you want. You can put checklists within it yourself. But there are very many others out there. And of course, I don't make a single cent for recommending any of these to you. Many of them are available for free with paid offerings. So just a little buyer beware there, and a little note that, I'm not making any commission. Trello's not paying me to put that out there. But it's one of many services that you can use to create a virtual calendar. For all intents and purposes, you could go and use a Google Calendar. You could use Microsoft Outlook or Apple Mail or Apple's calendars that are built into all of their products, such as a Mac or even, like I said, an iPad or an iPhone. However you get it done, though, there are many reasons for you to have a calendar. One of them is just to plan in advance that you don't want to be stuck, between do I wrap gifts for Santa in the morning so the kids can open things up, or the grandkids, or whatever stage in life you are. Hopefully not the spouse. May irritate them. Probably going to irritate them if you have to walk away from wrapping the presents and then, you're working on writing a blog post or an article because you got to have fresh content on your site. You got to stick to your schedule. Remember, those dates move sometimes, but getting ahead of the game here, when you come up with this nice little pile of ideas, or you have this streak, because we all get burnout. We all creatively get burnout. And face it, in most cases, content marketing such as this, doing a blog, doing a podcast, placating your fellow Twitter followers, or those people who liked your page on Facebook and you're replying to comments. This is all maybe secondary to your business, or at least you're trying to build a platform to help leverage and market that business. So you don't want this to stress you out, and it will. You'll get writer's block. You'll have these times where there's just lapses and you're creatively zapped and you just don't know what to do. Well, there's also those times where maybe you could, bang out 1, 2, 3 things, pieces of content all at once. And when you have some ideas, you could start to move these things around on your calendar. Put some due dates on them and plan in advance, including those holiday posts. You see it now. You've written it down on the calendar. You know you're going to need them in a week, in 2 weeks, a couple days, whatever it might be. Maybe there's something in your industry, a special hashtag, whatever. I don't even know. Maybe even Administrative Assistance Day is important within your office culture. These are things that you have to plan, or to maybe even like the people you may be doing B2B, so working with other small businesses. These are things that you have to consider, and you want to be ahead of the game on this. And this goes all year round, even when you're thinking about 4th of July and whether or not people are in the office or there's a national holiday. You're going to be farther off when you have a social media calendar. And I mean, it's I'm sorry, not just a social media calendar, but a content marketing calendar, because of course, like, you could use it for just about anything, any task that you need. You may even have more than one calendar if you get real fine tuned and you're really into this, like an OCD. I could get an OCD. Again, don't worry about perfection here. Due dates can move a little bit. You could be a little flexible, but you got to remember, when you have an audience, you don't want to lose any type of momentum. If they're expecting you to have something available to them that's brand new and fresh, you don't want to miss out on that. So at the very least, if you take off for the holidays, you're saying, oh, Joe's this maniac. He's doing all these things for the holidays and whatnot. I'm just going to do a simple, Merry Christmas, season's greetings type post, put it on Facebook, tweet that out to my followers, be done with it. That's totally cool too. Or if you do nothing, that's also, you should at least let people know that you're there, what your plans are. Let them know that, hey, you know what? I'm taking a week off. I'm going to do exactly that myself. So there's no harm, no foul there. You just, you're going to want to have that calendar, though, because you don't want to miss any important days if you plan on something. You want to stay consistent with your posting. If you post like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Tuesday, Thursday, or every Saturday, or at specific times, you kind of want to stick to that, because you never know who's out there that may be a potential client or customer that will see these type of things. And you will also, when you do these type of things and you produce this calendar, you may want to go back in the archives. Either look at my blog over on the website at joekuzma.com. Look over, whether you're listening to this on iTunes or YouTube or wherever you may be subscribed. I went through and I was talking about having a mix of content. And what that basically means is there's 3 kind of building blocks as far as entertaining or informing people and something of that nature. And you go back and you listen to some of that and you'll get a little bit of an idea. But not everything's always that you're going to be posting a link to a blog article. Not everything's going to be that there's this event coming out, or a photo or a graphic or an image or whatever it is, a poster, whatever it is that you may be posting, podcast, audio or video content. You're going to find your mix. And maybe everything you do just is writing from your blog. Totally cool. I get it. That's fine. Maybe you want to mix things up. So maybe you don't want to go 2 weeks straight just posting image, photo, image, when you need to be doing a podcast, for example, because you're on multiple platforms, or you need to be writing a new blog article because you stuck to a rigid, let's say, every other week at the minimum, because I know some of you aren't writers, comes easier to some than others, and that's okay. But you just want to be consistent, and you got to find the correct mix. Also, if all you're doing is shouting at the masses that you have this thing for sale and you're just bombarding someone with this new service or product or whatever, it's the only thing you have, that's kind of cool. But you kind of want to mix it up, because if you do that 4-5 times in a row, you're going to start shutting people down. I always call it the boy who cries wolf syndrome there. So you're going to be able to mix things up here. And when you do, you're going to end up, fooling your audience in a way too. And this is a good thing, but a lot of times people end up liking the same thing. Maybe not if it's done in repetition and you're spamming everything all at once, but if you end up mixing it up with some other content, just think of a salad, okay? You're throwing all the ingredients in. You got lettuce and tomatoes and eggs and cheese and, bacon bits and croutons and all these things, and you mix it up. That's what you want to do, because not everybody just wants salad, just plain old salad. So just keep that in mind, that as you mix this up, you're kind of tricking them into maybe seeing the same thing over again. And if they like your other things and engage with you, that's just going to help amplify your overall message. May even get some people to end up commenting or bring new people on board. But one of the other big reasons that you want to do a calendar, you need a content marketing calendar to save yourself time. When I record these programs myself, I even have a little bit of a bullet list. I have some topics already earmarked. I usually have between 3 and 5 that I have shelved, and I'm thinking, okay, you know what, this week I'm going to do that one. So for example, this one's been sitting collecting dust for the last month, when it popped into my brain and said, you know what, you need to talk about content marketing calendars with the masses, Joe. And now I'm here, I'm doing that. It saved me time, because you know what, I'm not spending an hour or two trying to research what my topic is going to be, and I'm efficiently and effectively allocating my time, because I've already made the plans and preparation. And this is one of the reasons why I advocate getting probably some type of web app, something that's available not only on the web, on your phone. However you do this, and you have this information in front of you and accessible, I kind of think of back in the day, I used to carry around a pen and a notepad, because you just never know when inspiration or an idea is going to strike. I will forget it if I'm out shopping, I'm getting groceries, I will forget it by the time I get home, because by the time I drop a can of soup or something in the store, it's gone. It's left my brain. Stop everything if you can, unless you have 3-4 kids in your arms and they're running around, and by that time you're probably not thinking of creative things for a blog or social media. But by all means, if you have this inspiration strike you, you have a creative idea, I'm just going to say, in quotes, old school, write it down. Whether you're writing it, whether you just text message yourself, put it somewhere where you won't lose it, and then you could return back to it after you put it on the shelf. And that's going to help you save time. It's very effective. And another thing too is I have to be careful, because I'm on multiple platforms here. So I'm putting something out on a podcast for a topic. I'm discussing something in a blog. A lot of times I'll discuss the same thing, but just not within the same week. And a blog is like a real quick hitter, as I like to say. It's something that, somebody's going to read. It's going to be quick. Boom. Podcast, a little bit long form topic, because if I wrote all the words that I've already said on this episode down in an article, you would have tuned out already. Your eyes would have glazed over. So again, this is one lesson that I gave back in the archives, that a podcast being a little bit, with being an audio format, could be a longer format, because people will listen almost infinitely longer than they have the patience to read. I think it's just a human brain capacity, memory type of perception, or whatever it may be. It's just the way us as human beings operate. So, and of course, when you put all of these things out on a calendar, you're understanding what's fresh and new. I'm not always talking about, today's a calendar. It encompasses all of my pillars of content marketing. I really didn't talk about emails and ebooks, but you could toss them in there with the blogs, the podcasts, the social media too for all 5. But it ensures you're not just talking like if I said, hey, you know what, this is what to do with a blog, this is what to do with the blog, this is what to do with the blog. It's the same idea as spamming that product or service. You're going to mix that up too and make sure everything is fresh and new, and you'll have things to talk about like that. I guarantee you'll figure it out, because when you put it down on paper, you're going to understand, you know what, people, they might not like that. Let's mix it up a little bit, and you're going to figure out exactly what works. So how do we get this started? Well, you have to find something that you're going to stick to, that you're going to be able to find it anywhere, have it accessible at your fingertips. I mentioned some apps earlier. I happen to like Trello. You get something like with a list, Wunderlist, Microsoft, I think it's Microsoft Tasks or To-Do or something, but there's also Todoist is also another very good one. Those are just your basic checklists. Did I just say Evernote? If I didn't mention Evernote, it's like a notepad type thing. There's an app called Notepad as well. Microsoft has OneNote if you happen to be in the Microsoft Office type platform. There's many things out there, but find out what you're going to use and then stick to it. One thing that I also learned was there's an app for that, right? And I've gone out and I've had like 6, 7 apps, and then you're trying to remember which one you put it in. Did I text that to myself? Did I email it to myself? Dedicate some type of resource. Even if you have to create a brand new email address just for your content marketing purposes, do so. Keep those eggs in their own basket off on the side so it doesn't mix or interfere with your personal and or professional life in any other way. You're going to want to, once you get that down, not only deciding what you want to post, I'm always talking about the actual content. Go back. You could listen to some of the other stuff. I'm sounding like a broken record now and spamming you by saying that, but I don't want to sound like a broken record and repeat some of the things I already gone to. I want to stick to the calendar here. So once you have your content decided, you've used some of the tips I've previously given you to figure out what it is you want to discuss, write about, etc. Now you have to decide how often you want to do that, because if you have a big pile, you could probably do it more than once a week or every other day or however you figure it out. But maybe you wanted to do that. You had these high aspirations and you didn't meet the expectation. You're going to burn yourself out in 2 weeks because you don't have enough. Spread it out. Write it down. Look at it visually. You got it there on that grid, on that calendar. Hey, you know what? This is the best frequency that works for me, so I don't overwhelm myself. And then you got to just get down to actually creating it. You're going to pick some days that are going to work for you. If you're busy all weekend and you can't get to it on the weekends, but you know what? You had Mondays are terrible. But you have some time at night, everything unwinds on a Monday night, and you're just sitting there, and whatever Monday TV program's on in the background, you pull up a laptop, or maybe you have not as fat thumbs as I have, and you could actually do this on a smartphone or something. You start to create some of this content, and then you save it, and then you have it ready for a Tuesday or a Wednesday publish, whatever that may be. Maybe you work better on the weekends, or you have a Friday night available and you do things for Saturdays, but it's going to help you meet those deadlines and create that content as well. And then, of course, just keep filling up that calendar, plan in advance. Find out what important days you may even want to address things that are around a certain holiday or event, be it Halloween or Christmas or Memorial Day, or I don't even know what else is there. I said the Administrator's Day. You have all these other things too, like National Hot Dog Day or National Burger Day and National Pizza Day and all these crazy things. I think there's even National Podcast Day. International Podcast Day, I do believe, is the actual word for it. So you kind of want to keep that in mind if you're involved in like those industries. If you own a hot dog shop and you're trying to drive some people in, your stuff's probably as easy as posting some photos and enticing people to come in, letting them know about specials and things of that nature. But you don't want to be the person that missed out on National Hot Dog Day, being able to not only try and get in on that hashtag, but letting people know that you're hip to the social media culture. You got it up on your blog or whatever be the case. You won't miss out on that if you have yourself a content marketing calendar. So, of course, folks, if you have any questions for me, you know where to reach me. It's hellojoe@joekuzma.com, or you could go over on the website and click on contact at joekuzma.com, as well as all the various social media platforms available and accessible to you on. And as always, don't forget, however you're listening, to subscribe, leave a comment there as well. I know there's some people that are there that are listening on YouTube, and if you have some questions, I check this stuff out all the time, so I will boomerang right back to you and try and give you even more further helpful advice. Until next time, as always, I encourage my listeners to be safe, be good, and I'll catch you later. Hi folks, this is Joe Kuzma. No, don't worry, you're not hearing things twice. I'm just here to say, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for listening to today's show and being a follower and subscriber of the Discontent Podcast. And I want to remind you that if you're interested in more information about all the various things it is that I do, whether it be about this show, content marketing, or you want to ask a question, you may visit me at joekuzma.com. That's JOEKUZMA.com. Or you can follow me as well on Facebook. Make sure you get the page and not the personal profile. Sorry, it's only for friends and family. Also on Twitter at Joe_Kuzma, LinkedIn, or Instagram. Also, don't forget, if you haven't already, subscribe, whether that be on iTunes, YouTube, or your favorite podcast provider, so you don't miss out on any of the great episodes that we have. Once again, thank you again for your support, and I look forward, as always, to speaking and interacting with each of you again soon.